Hello, hello, welcome back to PAPO FLUENTE podcast. One more conversation in English. We keep rolling, guys. One more episode. And as you know, I'm not alone. I have a very special guest today. And this is Isa. How are you, Isa?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing really good. Funny story, quick funny story, guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the threads, the app. So I dropped a post there, like saying that how difficult it is to sometimes to find guests to the podcast. And Isa, she was the one who replied to that post. And then we connected, and then I decided to invite her to the podcast. And today she's gonna share a little bit about her story, right, Isa?
Yes.
Good. All right. So to get started, so first of all, who are you? Where are you from? And what's the story? Why you were here?
Okay. First thing, thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate a lot. So my name is
You're welcome.
Isabella. Usually people call me Isa. I'm 22 years old. I am Brazilian French, which means I have families both from Brazil and both from France.
Okay.
But nowadays I live in Ceará. I used to live in São
Okay.
Paulo and I moved this year. I'm a French
Okay.
teacher. And I can say that's everything now. A little bit about my story. As I said, I am Brazilian French, so I was born in Brazil. My mom is French.
Okay.
I always lived in São Paulo. I studied in a French school, a bilingual school. So
Okay.
yeah, so I could speak French and Portuguese at the same time. I learned English in the same school, and yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So now things make a little bit more sense to me because I thought, like, okay, she speaks English, but then she speaks French. But you're raised as a bilingual child, right?
Yeah,
So we can say like both Portuguese and French were your
my native languages. Yeah.
native languages. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Nice. And thanks for sharing your story. So, Isa, I usually play a game with my guests,
Yay.
and today's gonna be a little bit different because since you speak French and English, I really want to play that game this or that so we can see the differences between the two languages. Are you good with playing the game?
Perfect. Sounds awesome.
All right, so I'm gonna start with a question that which is the more difficult to learn in your opinion? I know you were raised as a bilingual child, but from a student perspective, so you think would be more difficult to learn French or English as a Portuguese native speaker?
Okay. I do think both languages are not easy to learn, but French has different, let's say, accents. We have different sounds, sounds that we can't do in Portuguese or even in English. For example, the sound of the letter U in French, we say U. And sometimes, yeah, U. It's very
Mm.
from here. Yeah, perfect.
Okay.
So usually my students at the beginning of the classes, I'm a French teacher. I don't know if I said this before. They
Okay.
have some difficulties with the sounds. I don't think English is very difficult to speak, let's say, but maybe the verbs are kind of difficult. But answering your question, probably
Yeah.
French.
French. One thing because I live in Canada, right? So my daughter is she's starting to learn French at school because here in Canada they have both English and French. Not all the population speak French, but like they're trying to invest on that and like motivate little kids to learn French. And one thing that she says that drives her crazy is the numbers, like because you need to do some math, right?
Oh,
When you're
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, let's say that from 0 to uh 80, no, to 60 is okay. When
All
you
good.
come to the 70s, you need to do like 60 more 10. You say like
Wow.
70 is like 60 plus 10. And then you do 60
Wow.
11, 60 12, 60 13, and etc. etc. It's kind of hard.
All right. Oh yeah, yeah, because you're actually doing math at the same time you're speaking, right? So I imagine for native speakers, like French native speakers should be easier, but like for someone learning the language, I don't know.
It's not easy, but you get used to. I
All right.
usually put some music for my students and then they learn faster.
Okay, good. Like kids music?
Yeah, kids music.
Okay, yeah, that's the same when I'm teaching the alphabet. I usually play the ABC song, and my students, come on, teacher, really? I'm not a child.
Same, same.
I say, man, believe me, this song is gonna stick in your head, and you're gonna learn the alphabet for
Exactly.
real. Yeah. All right, good. So I can see some mini headbands behind you.
Oh yeah.
And my next question is about Disney, right? So which one is the best in your opinion? Disney in Paris or Disney in Orlando?
It's a little bit hard to answer this one because I've never been to Disney in Paris. But
Okay.
since I've worked for Disney in Orlando, I can say this is the best one because first thing, it's bigger, way bigger. We have
Okay.
6 parks, which 2 are aquatic parks. I believe the magic is more present in there, and they do invest more in the cast members. Cast members are people who work for Disney. Um,
Okay.
we have a lot of training, we have a lot of lessons, and if I'm not wrong, they do not have the same lessons in Disney Paris.
Okay. So they have way more infrastructure, they have more cast members, they have more like I believe more shows, right? And
Yeah,
more attractions overall.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, good. Nice. Uh in English and in French, what are the most difficult words to pronounce in your opinion? You can pick one from each language.
Okay. When I started my program in Florida, I had a lot of difficulties saying this word. Uh, literally, or
Literally.
literally.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
I had a lot of
That
difficulties. I hate this word. Sorry.
that's a difficult one. I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in French, let me think. Um, my students hate this one. Aujourd'hui.
Oh my goodness, is that one word?
It is one word and it means today. Aujourd'hui. Today.
Oh my goodness, is there like a simpler word like to say today, or that's the only one,
That's the
or the most common?
that's the only one I think for today. Uh,
Oh my
that
goodness.
you can say in this moment, but it's not the
Okay,
same thing.
it's not the same, right? And can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Aujourd'hui.
Aujourd'hui. Oh my
And
goodness.
the
Yeah, that's
way we
hard.
write it is it's like a monster for me.
Okay, okay, good. All right, good ones. And we talked about the most difficult words. What would be your favorite words in both languages?
Um, in English, it may sound a little bit weird, but probably dream because I had a dream to work for Disney since I was a little kid. So I always repeated this word for myself, dream, just dream bigger, dream bigger. And it happened. And in French, oh, that's hard. I have a lot, but probably well, can I say a whole expression?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because in Portuguese, we have the word saudades, which means you
Yeah.
miss someone, right?
Mm-hmm.
In French,
Yeah.
you don't miss someone. Is someone is missing from you. It's just like
Wow.
you're missing a part of you. You say,
Wow, that's profound.
yeah, you don't say I miss you. You say you miss me. It's like it's a
Okay.
person was a part of you. I like this expression.
Wow. And how do you say that in
You
French?
say tu me manques. You
Okay.
miss me.
Okay. I really want to try it, but it sounds so
Go
difficult. But I
ahead.
mean,
Go ahead.
can you say that again?
Tu me manques.
Tu me manques. I
Perfect.
don't know.
That's perfect.
Uh, all right,
Congratulations.
you're generous. I know you You seem to be a great teacher and motivate your students, but I
I
know
appreciate this.
it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. All right. Okay, good. And all right, so you've been to the US, right?
Yes.
Have you ever been to England or any other English speaking country?
No, I really wish
Just the
yeah,
US.
yeah.
Okay, good. So, and have you been to France yet or not
Yes,
yet?
yes, yes.
Okay, good. So, comparing dishes like food, what's your favorite food in the US and what's your favorite food in France?
Okay. In the US, I used to like um, I would say it's fast food, but it's very generic
Okay.
because I
Yeah,
like the
yeah, I know.
fast foods in the US. They are so good. But American food, the Philly cheesesteak.
The Philly cheesesteak.
It's so
Okay,
good.
it's the sandwich you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a good one. It's like roast beef and
Mm-hmm,
cheese.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But
that's a good one.
favorite, I wanted to say a food, but I love jalapenos Cheetos.
Really,
Really.
I don't like jalapenos, but yeah,
I was
okay, I
addicted.
can see that. Oh, really?
Mhm.
Okay. How about your French favorite French dish?
French, everything that has French cheese. Let me think about
Oh, really?
one. Probably bœuf bourguignon, which is
Oh.
like meat with wine and some kind of
Hmm.
aligot with
What is
potatoes.
it?
Like aligot is like mashed potatoes, but better
Okay.
with cheese.
Okay, so it's just mashed potatoes with cheese, and that makes all better.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
French cheese.
And when you say French cheese, is there like one specific kind or
Brie is the
oh
best one.
brie? Okay, okay. But there are different types of French cheese, right?
Yes, yes, we do have a
Okay,
lot of
good.
cheese.
And brie, say that again. Sorry, the
Brie.
pronunciation. Brie, because here they say brie, but
Oh,
it's brie.
mhm.
Brie. That's the best one in your opinion.
Yeah. Brie. I have another one, but they do not sell in Brazil, so I kind of miss the taste. I can't remember the
Okay,
taste,
but
but
you remember the name.
yeah, it's called Caprice des Anges.
Oh my goodness. All right. I will take some notes after this talk because I'm gonna check it out. Like maybe they have some in here. And I really wanna try because I do love cheese.
You
Cheese
should
is
try.
so good. Yeah. All right, good. Okay. My last question for this game would be like which French speaking country other than France because you've been there, but which English speaking country and French speaking country you would like to visit one day?
Mhm. For English, I have a lot, but now probably England because
Hmm.
of all of the history, and I kind of like the story of the royal family.
Okay.
I do watch the TV show. I forgot the name now. I completely forgot the name. But
I don't know.
yeah, the one about the royal family, but I forgot.
And but what do you like the most about the royal family?
It's so
Like just the
interesting because now it's all about everything politic, all about
hmm
presidents and stuff. And if I think that the royal family, they do have some sauce, let's say.
hmm Okay.
It's story.
Okay, good. And how about the French speaking country?
Um, Canada because I want to live there,
Oh
and
yeah, you mentioned that when you talked. Yeah,
yeah,
good.
and probably Switzerland because it's a beautiful country.
Okay. And is there like a specific place in Canada you would like to live or visit?
I would say Quebec because I have
Okay.
friends from there and they say it's really good to live in Quebec.
Okay. And how do you pronounce, because here they pronounce this province so like there are so many different ways they pronounce it. Some people say Quebec, some people say Quebec, some people say Quebec. I never know what's the right one. Or maybe there is not a right one, right?
Probably not because I say Quebec and that's it.
Okay. All right.
I know that
Okay.
I don't even know how to say this in English or in Portuguese they say Montreal.
Yeah.
In French,
In English, this. Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
they say Montréal.
Montreal.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
about in
Here they say
English?
Montreal. Montreal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Montreal. Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like, I mostly hear that from people because I live in Ontario. So people in Ontario, not all of them speak French. So when they say the words in French, they have a different way to pronounce it. But I've heard some people from Quebec speaking French, so they have the, let's say, the proper pronunciation. So it's always confusing, because they're all Canadians, but some of them don't speak any French.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
it's
mhm.
it's interesting. Good. All right. So we are done with the game. So did you like that?
I loved it.
Good. Nice. So I want to learn more about your story. And you mentioned that you learned French as as your first language. But how about English? So when did you start learning English? Was that in school, or did your mom or dad introduce it English at home? How was like learning English as a child for you?
Mhm. Everything started in my school, as I mentioned, but I had a passion with the English language because, well, I speak Portuguese and French. And I told
Hmm.
myself, well, I need one more when I was 10 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
because I used to listen a lot of music, mainly Katy Perry and Lady Gaga. They were my favorites, and I wanted to
Okay.
to understand the songs. So I
Hmm.
started studying by myself and at school. And when I was 15 years old, which was the second time I've been to Disney, I I had a dream to work there. So I said, well, I need to speak English very good. So I
Yeah.
started studying a lot and a lot. And at school, I had, let's say, I could choose a specialty in my 2 last years of school, and I chose
Okay.
the literature. This is another word I hate.
Yeah.
I
It's
chose
all
this
good.
specialty, which I could learn about American literature, French
Hmm.
literature, and
Okay.
Portuguese. So
Okay.
I had a lot of connections with the both of the three languages.
And that was back in high school when you choose those specialty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, exactly.
Okay. Nice. And you mentioned that you start studying by yourself and mainly using songs, right?
Yeah.
How did it look like? How was this studying by yourself? So what would you do? Like, can you go through the process of studying by yourself?
Uh-huh. I remember I had a whole list of verbs in front of
Hmm.
me, and I started looking for all the songs I liked, and I was listening to the songs and spotting all the verbs, and I was looking for the translation. This is how I started. Verbs, verbs, verbs,
Okay.
verbs. And I had a really good teacher. She told me that I needed to learn all the verbs and then write them down without looking,
Okay.
and then do it
Good.
myself. This
Nice.
was after I had a zero on my first exam in English. Yeah,
Really?
I had a
So
zero.
that was like kind of frustrated, and then you said, "No, this is one of my goals. I really want to learn this language. Now I got a zero. Now I need to learn it." So I
Exactly.
I think you were very motivated, right?
Yeah, I was. And then I started watching some TV shows, like Pretty Little Liars, Gossip Girl, and I was invested.
All in English.
All in English, everything in English.
And when you're watching those TV series, like, would you have subtitles on, subtitles off,
French subtitles, always.
French subtitles? Good.
I felt
And just
better.
Okay. Okay, and just focusing on listening and trying to catch the words and associate with the words in French that you knew.
That's because I think that learning this way by yourself without having English at your school is kind of hard. But
Mm-hmm.
since I had both, it was very good for me. I learned English in like 4 or 5 years, and I passed
Mm-hmm.
my Cambridge exam, level C1, in
Good.
2019. Yeah, I had five years for all of this.
Eh,
It was a lot.
Okay. And would you say like 5 years was the time that took for you to consider yourself fluent in English, or that was like shorter than that?
Uh, 5 years, yeah. Because
Yeah.
since I've been to the US in the middle of this 5 years, it helped a lot because I had the contact with natives and I had to help my mom because she couldn't speak English. So
Mm-hmm.
little me, 14 years old, speaking English with everyone in the US, it
Okay.
helped a lot.
Okay. And how did you feel like a 14 year old speaking English to native speakers? Because like I have adult students, and I also learned English as an adult. Like I was 22 when I started. Not 20, I would say 20, yeah. But it's hard for us as as adults to break free from this like fear and things like that. But I think for you as a 14-year-old, like how was it? Like you were just speaking freely, like you didn't care about making mistakes. How was the feeling of?
I didn't care at all because
Okay.
since I could speak already two languages and at school I was also learning Spanish and Latin, I felt like big boss. I can do this. I'm at
Oh.
Disney. It's for my mom. I need to know where to go, so I need to speak. Of course, I was
Okay.
not completely fluent. I made some mistakes.
Oh yeah.
Of course, I made some mistakes. Nowadays, I also make some mistakes speaking
Oh,
English,
I
but
make a lot of mistakes.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
it's all good.
normal. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I felt good because I could help my mom, and the feeling that you can help your parents, uh, it's it's a perfect feeling. I love this feeling to be
Yeah,
helpful.
and it's oh yeah, and I feel like this is something really important for everyone learning a language is to have like a clear goal. Like for you was to help your mom, for example, or being able to communicate, right? Like go through all the situations, and that was clear for you, and that's motivating, right? So you don't think twice. You know what you gotta do, and then you do what you gotta do.
Exactly.
And in some situations, like when you were abroad, this is what people don't realize, right? Sometimes you don't have choice, right? There's no one around you that speak your language, so you have to speak, right? So I think that's important, right? For students, do you try to put these situations where your students they immerse themselves in French and they need to like consume content in French. They need to speak up in French. So, how do you put that in your daily practice with your students, your
So
French students?
I have different types of students. I have students that come for because of a travel because they're traveling to France. I have students
Mhm.
that they just want to learn, and I have students that they are going for a program or something, and students that are going to pass the French exam, which is called DELF, DELF.
Delph.
Yeah.
Okay. Like
Uh,
it's a proficiency exam.
yes. I
Okay.
always tell my students to have like a routine. They need to have about 15 or 20 minutes in contact with the language every day because you need to adapt your head to listen to the sound of the French. And
Mhm.
then you can start by listening to music, you can watch movies, TV shows, as I the same thing I did when I wanted to learn English. And for my students that want to go to France, I always say that it is very important to learn a little bit of the culture and the language for actually for every country you want to visit. It is very
Mhm.
important. It's respectful,
Oh yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So I think there is a meaning behind this. So, for example, I want to go to London. I can speak English, but I don't know anything about their culture. I know about the royal family,
Mhm.
but what if? So
Yeah.
I will take a month or two to learn about them. I don't want to be
Yeah.
disrespectful there.
Yeah, and not only being disrespectful, right? It's like the way you interact with people so you can like be more accurate when you learn a little bit about the culture, right? Of course it takes time. So I'm here in Canada for 3 years and like the other day I posted like I feel like I'm fluent in English, but I'm not fluent in the Canadian culture because it's so many things to learn, it's so many things to adapt. But I think you're totally right, and bringing that to your students' attention. Like, okay, guys, it's not enough to learn just the language, right? So you need to learn a little bit of the culture and try to immerse yourself in the culture, right?
Oh yeah.
Good. Isa, that great talk so far. But I really want to learn more about your experience living abroad. So you went to Disney a couple of times with your family just to enjoy the park and learn and like to visit. But then you decided to go on a like full experience, let's say. So you worked for Disney, right?
Yeah.
So how was this experience? Like, first of all, where did the idea came from? And if you can break like in stages, like the idea, or and then how was the process to get hired from Disney, and then leaving the experience? How was everything? Can you share with us?
Sure. It's one of my favorite kind of subjects. So
Okay.
I've been to Disney twice before my program, and when I was 10 years old with my grandma. It was my dream, big, big dream to go to Disney. So she brought me to Disney. And then when I was 14 years old, I asked my mom as my 15-year-old birthday. When I was 14 years old, I went to Disney with my mom, and it was one of the best experiences of my life because I could actually understand what was going on in front of me. Everything. I could see the magic, but I could see the work. You see, I could see magic and reality at the same time. And I
Mhm.
remember I cried a lot every time because of the shows, because of the characters. And my last day at Disney, I was watching the fireworks show at Magic Kingdom. And
Mhm.
I remember they had an old show. It was called Make a Wish or something like this. And I actually
Okay.
made a wish. I was looking at the brightest star, like something all about Disney movies. The
Mhm.
star, the brightest star, and I made a wish. I said, okay, I want to come here again, but I want to make the magic. I want to be part of the magic. And I didn't know about the program before. So
Okay.
it was just a wish.
And you were 15 back then.
I was, yeah, 14, 15, almost 15.
Okay.
And then,
Okay.
okay, I came back home. I made a lot of researching about working for Disney. It was something crazy at the beginning because I told myself, I can't work for Disney.
You didn't even know there was a possibility.
Exactly. So, and then I found this program which is called International College Program. And I
Hmm.
said, actually, I have a chance. And then I started studying for the process when I was 15 years old. But it was something so far from my reality because it's very expensive. And I had to be in the second year of my university, and I was still at school. So it was going
Okay.
to take a long time. And
Hmm.
then when I finished school in 2019, the pandemic came. So they canceled the
Yes.
program.
Mm.
So I was very sad, and I said, well, okay. Maybe I'm moving to France, and they do have the same program there. So I'll try in France. But no, actually, I stayed in Brazil, and I
Hmm.
said, well, let me make a research about this program. Let me see what I can do, and
Hmm.
then maybe the program will open again for Brazilians. So I
Okay.
started studying about the process. The process is kind of hard because it is divided in three parts. The first part,
Okay.
you need to subscribe in the website. It happens once a year. And let's
Hmm.
say that everyone wants to work for Disney in Brazil.
Hmm.
So you have like 1,000 spots, and 20,000 people want to all the spots.
Oh,
So
so
yeah,
it's a lot of people like trying to get the spots,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Sometimes you can't even subscribe. So if I could
Mm.
subscribe, it was already a lot for me. And it
Good.
happened. So, and then I have a whole, I don't know the word in Portuguese, in English, sorry. How can I say palestra?
Lecture.
Mhm. Okay, I had a lecture with everyone that
Okay.
subscribed, and then I had one interview. Um,
Okay.
it was an interview with someone, with me, like my duo, and we had
Okay.
to answer some questions about, oh, why Disney? Um, why are you doing this program now? And
Mm-hmm.
why do you think Disney should hire you? So a lot of hard questions, you know.
Okay.
How do you
It was kind
associate?
of almost an interview
It
already.
was more than
Okay.
it was harder, a lot of pressure
O-
actually.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was a dream, so I felt pressured, but I
Yeah. Yeah.
studied, so I could do
Mm-hmm.
it. For me, the hardest question was about associating my course, my major, with Disney.
Mm-hmm.
I was a law
Okay.
student before,
All right.
so associating law with Disney was hard because law is something like serious,
Yeah.
and then you have Disney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I
But
associate.
how did you do it?
Okay, so Disney has 5 keys that you should follow as a cast member. The first key is safety, second one is courtesy, third one is inclusion, fourth one is, oh my god, show, and then the other one I forgot.
It's all good,
That's
but
a
you
big
remember
mistake.
almost, but you remember basically all of them, but
Yeah,
one. But
but
that's good.
inside the courtesy key, you have one thing about VIP. VIP
Okay.
means a very important person, right? But
Mm-hmm.
for
Yes.
Disney, VIP is very individual person. So you have to
Okay.
treat everybody individually. It in the every even if you have a lot of guests in the same day, you should treat them
Mm-hmm.
like one individual.
Okay. Like they're
Everyone is there
unique.
for, yeah, unique, exactly. And in law, you should do the same thing because you have all the time the same problems. But
Mm-hmm.
each people are dealing with the problems differently, so you have to treat
Yeah.
them like a unique person. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing for Disney. This is how I connected,
But
but better.
that was actually a great association, I would say. Like you,
I
that
studied
was
a
like
lot,
great.
okay.
Nice. Good. All right. So
so
after the presentation, so what happened after that? And the
so I
questions and
had
everything?
another interview. So I passed the first interview, and then I had another one, but with all the Disney interviewers. So it was a
Mm.
bigger thing. So the interview was even in the at Walt Disney Company in São Paulo. I didn't even know
Okay.
they had a whole office for them in São Paulo. So
Mm-hmm.
it was already a dream coming true because it's so pretty.
Oh
And
yeah?
yeah, it's so pretty. They have like
But it's not open to visit, right? It's like top
no,
secret.
no, it's not top
Okay.
secret, but you can like go
Now
in
you
there.
know. Now you know, and now my audience know, and thanks for sharing that. So,
No,
guys,
it's
if you
not a
don't
big
know,
secret.
there is an office, a Disney office in São Paulo. Okay, guys.
It's not a big secret. But yeah, and then I had another interview, and my interview was the leader of all the Disney interviewers. So
Okay.
it was a big thing. And well, I answered basically the same questions, but alone. I wasn't with anyone else with me. And well, I passed. I knew 2 weeks later, and then I had all like a documentation process, and it was kind of boring because I had to
Mm-hmm.
go for my visa, all the
Mm-hmm.
documents for working at Disney. It's a different kind of visa, um, and then well, everything, a lot of documents. My program actually started 5 months after I received my approval, so I
Okay.
had to wait a lot.
Mm.
I was so anxious.
So
Uh,
yeah, I believe it was like the worst part, like waiting,
it
right? So
was the
now you
worst
knew we
part.
were going, yeah, but yeah, just waiting to go there, I think was the
It was the hardest part. A lot of anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was so anxious that everyone started arguing with themselves. It was
Oh,
insane.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so did you know the other cast members from Brazil before
Yeah,
going there?
we have
Oh, good.
a whole giant group of cast members, Brazilian cast members, Brazilians from
Okay.
previous years, Brazilians from last year, and Brazilians that are going right now next month.
Oh, okay. So you guys have this like you share information, you help each other, so that's
Yeah,
good.
because actually, people who already did the program are not allowed to do it again.
Hmm.
That's sad.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
sometimes Disney needs more cast members, so they call some Brazilians. So we never know. That's why we are always
Oh,
connecting with all the information.
okay. So there is a chance that you might go again if they need.
Small,
A
small.
slightly chance. Okay.
But it is
All
always a
right.
chance.
Okay.
Well, and then when you receive your approbation email, you receive like a role, which is, let's say, your duty at Disney. Everyone has a
Okay.
role because Disney is like a huge theater. So everyone is a
Yeah.
cast member, everyone has a role, um, everyone is working on stage, which is
Okay.
actually the parks, or not,
Mm-hmm.
or no. But yeah, so I was scheduled to be a seater, which is someone,
Sitter.
yeah, someone who works in restaurants but not cooking or serving or something like this. I had to check the guests in, and I had to speak to
Okay.
them all the time. So I had a lot of experience in communication at Disney. I spoke with
Nice.
a lot of people, even celebrities, and
Wow.
yeah, and I worked in the most expensive resort at Disney, which is the Grand Floridian. So
Okay.
I had to deal with, let's say, VIP guests.
Okay.
So
Very rich people.
very, very rich people. So I had
Okay.
to have like a good English, formal English, even if it
Mm-hmm.
was at Disney.
Okay.
So it was a good experience. I had a blast because I had passes for to go to the parks every day all the time. So this is
Okay.
what I was doing all the time. I woke up, I went to the parks, and then work. And I had a lot of discounts. So I have a lot of mini ears. I have a lot of Disney stuff. A lot.
So you fully enjoyed the experience.
I
Like you
fully
would
enjoy.
wake up, go to the you would go to the park in the morning to have fun and then work in the afternoon and maybe until like late night and then like keep doing this, right?
Yeah.
Enjoying the
Yeah.
experience.
And it was very like a cultural program for me because I made friends with a lot of Americans. My
Mm-hmm.
co-workers were all Americans except for one that was Brazilian. She is one of my best friends right now. And
Good.
I lived with an American girl, so it was a fulfilling experience, let's say, because I, I don't even know how to explain, but I made a lot of friends from everywhere. So, and
That's
my
great.
English, I had a like all of my English got a lot better.
Okay. But you were fluent before going there. You consider yourself fluent before going to Disney, right? Like for work.
Mm, uh, Actually, mm, no, because of all the pandemic stuff, I
Mm-hmm.
stopped training for the program and my English and stuff because I was almost giving up. Um,
Okay.
when I first started my job at Disney, I had a lot of difficulties by speaking with my managers and
Okay.
stuff. But
Okay.
after 2 weeks, it was something completely different. I could communicate,
Okay.
I could understand everyone, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it changed a lot in 2 weeks.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah, it
consider
takes some
myself
time,
fluent,
right?
but
Yeah.
it does. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. And how long was that experience like? For how long you stay there?
Oh, it was so short. It was only 3 months.
Oh yeah. Oh, 3 months? Okay. But it sounded very intense, right? So you enjoyed the most, right? So that's the most important.
It was intense.
That's good.
Intense.
All right. Okay, so I really want to talk about your. I loved hearing more about your Disney experience. That was great, and I think for the ones who are listening, guys, it's a good opportunity, right? If you're young, if you are at university or college, and you have a certain level of English, you should give it a try, right? So give it a try and watch this episode. Get the tips and tricks from Isa, and if you have any questions, what's the best way to find information about this program? Directly to Disney on Disney website?
So you can, I have three ways for you guys. First things first,
Okay.
you need to go to the STB website because they are the
Okay.
only ones that make this connection with Disney for the program. The only ones.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
STB.
STB, Student Travel
Okay.
Bureau.
Okay. So
And then
STB, guys. All right.
and then of course the Disney programs website.
Mm-hmm.
And then, well, let's make some propaganda. Can I make some propaganda?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So actually, when I came back from my Disney program, I started teaching about this program. So I made a lot of
Oh.
simulations, interview simulations with everyone. I had like about 60 students. I taught them about all the keys and all the stuff. I wrote a book
Okay.
about this, so you are all free to contact me.
Nice.
Yeah, so I can help with a lot of tips, a free tip, of
Okay.
course. And on my Instagram, I have a lot of highlights about the program and a lot of highlights about tips.
And is that your Instagram, Isa Bonneval? Is that the one?
Actually, no, I have an Instagram only for my Disney program.
Okay. So what is it? Tell us.
It's Magic by Isa.
Okay, Magic by Isa on Instagram, so they can reach out to you over there if they're interested in the program. So you're gonna be able to help them out.
Of course, I love talking about this. I could
Okay.
talk about for hours, so I'll be happy to
All
help.
right, and I'll make sure I'll have the like both profiles on the description of this episode. So if you guys can simply go to the description, you can click there and go to the uh,
I appreciate this.
Magic by Isa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great, good. All right, guys. And one question: is there a age limit for being in the program, or
Not at
no?
all. Disney is free for
Oh,
all.
really? So I should try it. I'm 34 now. Okay, I'll talk
But
to my wife about it, and
you must be
yeah, go
in
ahead.
the university. Okay?
Oh,
It's a
okay.
rule.
All right. Oh, maybe I can go back to university. All right,
Yeah,
no,
go
just
ahead.
kidding. It's just too much. I'm just joking around. It's all good. But for you guys, if you're interested, go ahead, check it out. Magic by Isa. So she's gonna be able to help you out. But Isa, I would love to hear more about your experience as a French teacher. And my other question would be, why not an English teacher also, since you have like this beautiful English? So why did you decide to teach French? When did it start? And talk more about your classes, how people can find you for French classes if they need. So go ahead.
Okay. So, my grandmother is actually a French teacher, and she has years and years of experience. And I
Okay.
always love to watch her teaching. I think it's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful profession. And well, as I said, I was a law student. I stopped my major when I came back from my program because I could see inside my heart that law was not for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had experience by teaching before my program, but it was not something extremely professional. I did because I wanted to help with all the bills in my house. So it was not
Mm-hmm.
something big, but I always liked. When I came back, I told myself, well, um, I don't like law. I want to do something that I love. So let's continue
Mm-hmm.
with teaching and let's make some more propaganda. Let's see if I have more students. So I had a lot of students. I have a lot of students, thankfully. And
Mm-hmm.
I started like falling in love with this, but each day more. So um, I don't even know how to say this because it's so meaningful for me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but people usually found me on TikTok or Instagram because I post a lot about the classes in there. And since I studied in a French school, I have a lot of contacts. So yeah, so I think French is a beautiful language, and a lot of people wants to visit France. So I am
Mm-hmm.
fully committed with the idea of sharing the language and the culture for people who want to go to France. So
Mm-hmm.
everything starting with this idea. Um, and well, nowadays I have a lot of beautiful, beautiful students, which I love sharing everything about my culture and everything about the beauty of French language. And that's it. But English, why not English? I think that when you want to teach something, you need to be fully committed with this. So
You're
French
right.
takes me a lot of time. So I
Mm-hmm.
do study every day for my lessons. I do not simply
Mm-hmm.
teach. I study every day. So it takes me like half of a day for preparing my classes. So can you imagine this but in double? I cannot
Yes, I
do this.
can.
I want to be
Yeah.
like fully committed with French because I'm used to it. I'm native. So and I also have my diploma, my French diploma at school. So
Okay.
why not?
That's great. And it's so nice to hear from you like that you're fully committed with that and you have this good notion of what teaching a language means, right? Because nowadays what we see a lot on social media is like people like just like throwing out things randomly like without any responsibility and just seeing
Yeah.
like a young lady like you saying like I spend half of my day preparing classes. Did you hear that, guys? So it's not something that is like, oh, today I woke up and I decided that I will teach French just because I'm fluent and I was like a bilingual child, so it's not like that, right? So it takes effort, it takes a lot of dedication. It's so nice
Takes a lot of
to
effort.
see that, yeah, that you have this this notion, right? Like this like you value your students. You're not like simply throwing content out there. You're like uh you're putting the effort, you're doing your best, so that's great. Good. So if people
Mhm.
wants to like if people want to learn French with you, what's the best way to find you on social media?
People can always send me messages on Instagram, and usually they can schedule like a small talk with me. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
it's for free. It's just a talk, and then we
Mm-hmm.
can talk about all of your goals, and I can show you my classes. How do they work on
Okay,
Instagram? That is
good.
fine. Yeah.
All right. At Isa Bonneval. That's the profile. Is that the Instagram account? They should reach you out for classes?
Oh, it's my normal Instagram, Isa Bonneval.
At Isa Bonneval.
Mhm.
Okay, good. So I know you guys who follow me, your main goal is to learn English, but I mean, French is absolutely awesome. And I can tell you guys, like, I'm here in Canada. I see like the government and all the provinces, they are now requiring a French for many jobs and for many immigration programs. So if you intend to come to Canada, or even if you are in Canada already and you want to learn English, so you need to learn French. Sorry, if you need to learn French, go ahead and like check Isa Bonneval on Instagram and schedule a talk. See if you can start taking classes with her. So You guys, by by this point, I'm pretty sure you guys are convinced she's a great teacher, right? Good. Uh,
Oh, that's sweet.
Isa, yeah, Isa, any final messages you would like to share with the audience, like any tips and tricks when it comes to learning a language, any motivational message? So feel free to share anything that you want.
Okay. Well, first thing, learning a language is not only learning a language, it's culture, is something for your future, something for your kids, something for everyone around you. It is very important not only for you, but for other people who you will share this kind of knowledge. Um, and nowadays that people are so invested on social media like TikTok, Instagram, all the time. Um, I feel that people are not much, let's say, curious about learning about cultures. So
Mm-hmm.
don't be this kind of people. Just go ahead, learn. It's not hard. You just need to be um just dedicate like 15 minutes of your day. It's nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And you will learn a
Yeah.
new language. So it's 15 minutes, and of course classes if you want to, for a whole new culture for you, for your heart.
Yeah, very good. That was a powerful message, and thanks for sharing that, Isa. And thanks again for being part and for your time. I appreciate that, guys. Again, so all the social medias for Isa will be on the description below. So you're watching the episode. Feel free to reach out if you wanna learn more about the Disney program. If you wanna learn more about French classes, just feel free to reach out. And thanks again for your audience, and I see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Ellen. Was awesome.